This your man Royce the 5'9". I just want to shout out my boy Tru, the fellow Detroit legend.
What's
just wanted to
up?
salute
What's
him and
up?
Domo and Super James for having the #1 radio show. This your man Royce the 5'9".
And we're back.
And you,
Welcome
now
to
you're
Green
all
Room Radio.
experienced with the buttons.
I'm trying to get experience with the buttons. I'm
What?
here with
What's up, Green Room Radio? We back in the studio, and we got some fighters.
Well, first of all, we got Domo Monster,
yeah,
which is you.
Domo.
And then we got two very special guests. We got Blake Bilder in the building and his coach Flame.
The Flame.
What's
Flame.
up?
The Flame.
Where? So I guess we'll start this off as where are you from, Blake?
I'm from originally St. Paul, Minnesota.
Okay, so you're Midwest. I could see that a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, sure.
You didn't-
I was gonna ask you.
Oh yeah,
say you
going fishing for crappies in northern Beverly.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
have
yeah.
a little.
You didn't remind me of Costa Mesa.
Yeah, shooting up to the cabin on the weekends, you know.
Is that how
Don't
they,
you know?
Oh, don't you
is
know?
that how they talk in Minnesota?
fuck yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I
shit.
came down
What
to
was that
California.
movie?
Fargo.
No, not Fargo, but yes. But
Yes,
the
but
other
no.
one, it was with Kirsten Dunst, and it was like a funny one, but it was like the girls were like competing. I need to look this up before I keep talking.
So shout out to our sponsor today, Fuego. I'm gonna give
Fuego.
Blake a little trivia question here. What is their slogan? Since you're sponsored by them, you better know what it is.
Serving up all the smoke.
Nope.
Oh fuck.
Close.
You got it, Domo Monster.
This shit is fire.
This shit is fire.
Oh shit.
All right, I had to learn that
This shit
over
is
the
fire.
weekend.
He
Shit
was
is fire.
like around the corner from.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting. You're sponsored by Fuego, and you have a coach named Flame. So it's kinda-
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing that caught my attention is the
Yeah.
fire in the back. I love that shit.
I was wondering if that name. I was like, is that like? Did they?
Where are
change
you
your
from?
name or
That's my
something?
talent name.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's right. Watch
He
out,
does
ladies.
porn on
We
us.
have a new talent.
We'll
Yeah.
get into that later.
He's available
Later.
for collabs.
Where are you from,
It's
Flame?
only available
I,
after hours.
I was born in Anaheim, and I did a little bit of time in Mexico.
Right.
So
How
I was
in Mexico?
I was there and back in Guadalajara.
I like
I-
that.
I
You said did a little bit
Guadalajara.
of time.
I lived there when I was a little young, and then came back and then stayed out here. But my
Nice.
first language is Spanish, so
Okay, I was just gonna Spanish check you 'cause
Caliente.
every Diaz and Sano and stuff around me, they don't speak Spanish. So
oh no, I speak fluently Spanish.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. I could tell by the Guadalajara.
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 Yeah, right.
It rolls off the tongue.
So how did you and Blake here come together?
We met on OfferUp, right?
Yeah,
He was-
yeah.
Offer
So-
up?
soliciting for a coach and
Yeah,
shit. and-
back pages for Craigslist. Something
Yeah.
like that.
Damn, I missed back. Hey, free back page. I wish back page was.
No,
We gotta bring it
no,
back.
that's
Yes.
very bad.
We gotta bring
we
it
don't
back.
want Backpage back.
Oh,
No,
No.
Craigslist.
If you guys don't understand what Fosta Sesta is,
What's
What
Foster?
is
The
that?
what- the
Elaborate.
What?
I
that's a
gotta
big-
educate you
big
guys.
word.
Basically, Backpage is not around anymore due to Fosta Sesta. There was human trafficking going
Oh,
on.
shit.
Yes, the owners, and then they tried to plead the fifth. They didn't. They were allowing, pimps and other traffickers to traffic women on there. So, just a little education.
But
No, we
there's
don't.
probably
Yeah.
also women trafficking themselves.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And men too.
And men.
Men too.
Oh shit.
So
Hey.
so Blake here won season 6, week 6 of the Contender Series.
Yes, sir.
How was that?
Oh man, it was amazing. It was crazy because I had just been with my coach for about 6 months. Me and him met back in February, and I actually went to go train with a different coach, and I ended up training with him, and it was like the perfect amount of time leading up to defend the world title, which is how we got the Dana White Contender Series fight. And I went there to meet up with a different guy. I met Flame, and he was like, yo, who you here to train with? And I was like, oh, this guy Trevor. And he's like, yeah, he's all right. And I was like,
What was the last name of Trevor?
Sombrano.
Okay.
And he's pretty good. He's a good coach.
Oh, you know who
so-
I'm thinking about? I'm thinking of that Trevor Whitman, who's
Oh,
actually
no.
a really good coach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he's
What's he
like,
got?
oh yeah, he's cool. He's good. And I was like, damn.
Didn't like that answer.
I was like, I just trained with this guy like a few times, and he's like pretty nice with it. And then I started talking to Flame, and he's like, yeah, you see all these people on the wall here, and it's like him with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., him with Luis Netti, 2-time like world champion, WBC, Venado, like. But it's him in the pictures with all of his fighters.
Oh,
not just
wow.
like
So are you
Yeah.
so you're a boxing coach then?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have
Yeah.
different
My
coaches for the other
yeah, I got
talents?
I got a jiu-jitsu coach and then an MMA coach, which we mix it all up together with. But I was told to come to this gym if I want to get like Ivy League training. Like he's like, where you're at is all right, you know, it's like high school level. He's like, but bro, he's like, there's levels to this shit. And he's like, if you come and train with Trevor, it'll really improve your game and you need it. And I was like, I was listening to one of my buddies and he showed me some footwork that they were doing and I was like, damn, this shit's nice. So I go there. I asked the guy, I was like, hey, if you're free tonight, I want to go there, get some work. I was like, I just want to get those feels again. Let me know if you can go. And I just hit him up randomly on Instagram. I'm like, I'm going. So I see Flame there after I just started rolling with like a bunch of guys from a different team that was there. And I had grappled like with like 6 guys because like, oh, you're an MMA fighter. I was like, yeah. And so every one of them's challenging me. I like tap out 6 guys in a row.
So it was more a boxing gym
It's a
predominantly?
boxing
It's a
gym,
boxing
yeah.
gym.
Okay.
And
gotcha.
but they were like, oh, who's this guy? You know, like, oh, you do. Hey, he wrestled. Hey, he was in the NFL. Hey, this guy did jiu-jitsu for a little bit. And I'm just running through, choking this guy, armbarring that guy, and just killing these fools. And then I meet the Flame and I start talking to him. He's like, yeah, all these guys, you know, I produced world champions. And I was like, damn. I was like, fuck. I was like, that's pretty nice. He's like, show me how you'd slip. So like, I did a movement. And he put a right there in my face, and like the way he threw it was fucking like nice. And I could just tell by the way he moved. I was like, damn, this fool is like fucking cold with it. And he's like, see, me and my guys, we move way different. We think different. We program different. And I tailor all my guys specifically to our opponent. He's like, over here, we produce world champions. I don't lose. All we do is win. And I was like,
Whoa.
I was like, damn. And then he showed me, he's like, this is how we slip. And like, he was like, what would you do? Puts it right on my face, like right there. I was like, damn. And he's like, this is how we do it. And he starts doing movement patterns. He's like, that way you can come right here, get off to the side, boom, land this. And like the way he was moving was like, I've never seen anybody move like that. I was like,
So would you say in MMA, boxing's probably the strongest suit that you should know, or is it actually everything?
hands down? I mean, it's
Boxing
just
and wrestling for sure. Like
I'd say
king.
yeah, boxing and wrestling. If you
So
have-
all this stuff going on with all these, you know, all this boxers versus MMA, is it really? I mean, the thing that I've learned is it seems like obviously they're just 2 different sports. I mean, I don't know how real it was to see Jake Paul knocking out Tyrone Woodley. That was very surprising to me.
Well,
However, you know, I know BJ Flores and I know the Shane Mosley and, you know, the guys he's got training him are legit. And
Yeah.
so even though he might be at his little 4-year mark, which he says, I think he's probably at an 8-year mark with coaching like that. But I mean, there is a real big difference, right?
yeah. Well, with the punch and power is a big difference. I mean, with a boxer and MMA fighter, I think naturally, just because an MMA fighter has a lot of other arts he has to practice, so he can't dedicate his whole entire time to just one craft. In the other hand, the boxer is just doing one thing, punching every single day. So, yeah, I mean, you'd imagine he has to have a pack a better punch than the MMA fighter. But it's not always the case because Blake started doing boxing. That was his first art he learned
at 17,
and at
yo.
17. And he's probably one of the few dudes I've ever worked with in MMA that can actually beat up a boxer standing up because of his past and now how he transitioned that. He's always had that special tool. He just had to unlock it again, and
Yeah.
he's done that nicely now because all of our last 3 fights have been won because of our stand up.
Yo.
Would you fight Jake Paul?
Oh fuck yeah.
It seems like, I mean, I know Jake Paul
Hell
just
yeah.
fought at 185. It seems like everybody he was fighting, he was way bigger than.
Well, here's the thing for amateur boxing, I was 18-2. Those are my only 2 losses ever. So total, I'm 44 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw. And so I went 36-2 as an amateur. My only losses were in boxing. It was at National Golden Gloves, and it was at the Ringside Worlds semifinals.
So you basically came out as a boxer before
yeah.
the MMA stuff.
Yeah, I won the Golden Gloves twice, once in Georgia in 2013, and then I won the regional state and upper Midwest Golden Gloves and qualified for nationals. And
Yeah, do they, man, Golden Gloves, I know I'm from Detroit, but Golden Gloves is massive.
Golden Gloves is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you go down in history, you can look in the Golden Glove book every year, and you'll see Blake Bilder at middleweight in 2013.
So middleweight is
165.
165.
But I also fought at light heavyweight against a 10-time national champion, Pool Both, and I beat the 3-time upper Midwest Golden Glove champion.
What is light heavyweight? Is that 185?
175, no?
Light heavyweight is up to 178.
178.
Yep.
Wow. So you've been fluctuating all around in weight.
Yeah, man. I mean, for those 3 fights, I was just told, don't even worry about your weight. And actually, we were supposed to fight middleweight, so I fought a light heavyweight at middleweight, Leo Medell, who was like 3-time upper Midwest Golden Glove champion, and they were like, "Oh, we don't have a 165er for you. All we have is the light heavyweight, former 3-time." I was like, "Fuck it, let's run it." And I smashed him.
Wow.
Like smashed him. And then the second time we fought, we had a rematch. I was fucking jet skiing for like 4 hours the day before, like up at friend's lake house.
Definitely fuck your arm, bro.
Boom! No, my legs.
Your legs.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
shit.
we were on it, just like standing up, boom, 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 and on a lake, the waves don't get up too high like in the ocean. So on a lake, you can mob at like 80 miles per hour. So we were just, whoa, whoa, and then we were trying to whip each other off too. So
were you or Flame, were you guys surprised when Jake Paul knocked out Woodley like that?
I was not. I actually worked with that was Jake Paul, right? I actually worked with Logan Paul.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was working with him for a little bit out in his home in Studio City. And the minute we started working together, I'm like, dude, these guys are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
No, I was
Yeah.
they're athletes,
I was definitely a hater of those guys, especially when they came in. But, like I said, knowing their coaches, I run around with the BJ Flores a lot. Just like I said, the more I watched them, I'm like, these guys are fucking for real. Like,
Yeah, they're
I'll tell you
taking it seriously.
what makes them pretty good is that they don't cheat the system. And what I mean by that is their sparring partners are professional boxers.
Yeah.
They train like professional boxers. So, I mean, if they were just dudes talking shit and just fighting random people like, oh, I'll fight you, and, they're just training like Joe Schmo, then I would be like, they don't even respect the craft. They know that this shit's deadly and, fuck them. But no, they actually put in the work. They put in the work and the hours.
What did you think of the skill level of Tyson Fury? Was that a good
Tommy
first
Fury?
time?
Tommy
Tommy.
Fury,
Sorry,
yeah,
my
not
bad.
Tyson.
Shout out to Tyson, though. He's
Yeah,
the man.
Tyson Fury's good.
But what did you think of Tommy? I mean, is he a very novice?
I think that fight for him was very mental more than anything. I know that his performance is a lot better than what he put out this last weekend. But again, I mean, Jake is not a pushover, I mean, you saw what he did to
He did
what's his
great.
name, Woodley?
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw what he did.
I mean,
what
I
he did
just
to
can't
him, and
here's the
believe
thing.
that. Like,
Here's the thing, is like when it comes down to the talking game and talking shit and like getting in somebody's head. I mean, he's like a Conor McGregor.
oh yeah,
Yes,
no,
yes.
He's the type that'll talk fucking crazy shit to you and
And he trolls.
and he trolls the fuck out of you, and he knows, and he's so used to that, and he's game fight day, like he's game to fight, like he'll talk that shit. Like Tommy backed out one time before on him, and I think he
that.
was just in his head, and then
do you feel like being an Anderson Silva or a Tyrone Woodley? Do you feel like that touched their legacy at all to take a loss from a Jake Paul later on in life?
not necessarily, because like Jake's still fighting.
Yeah.
If Jake just like Logan Paul, where he just got a fight and then like stopped,
Yeah.
then it would be different. But he's actually
No, I said, well,
he's
that's where
performing.
I
He
get
wants
in.
to do it,
Yeah, I get into a thing where I always want to ask people, like, do you think MMA's gotten more, of a young man's sport? Because I know, with Jake being so young and Anderson Silva obviously being in 40s, I mean, that's a big deal. Even though Anderson Silva probably has a lot more skill than him, that's even the age is a big advantage.
I think in boxing and MMA, the age differences are pretty significant. Like, I feel like there's more younger boxers, And in MMA, a lot of the bad motherfuckers are a little older.
Yeah, all of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
I'm just
all
dead
of
ass
them are
honest.
in their 30s.
Yeah, all the dudes in their 30s are just
I
fucking
saw
monsters.
when they put that, when basically they banned TRT, all the fucking big fighters in the UFC,
All the Brazilian
yeah, they're
champions.
Yeah.
fucking all of them
Bye-bye.
gone. See you later.
Yep.
And then I can't even remember some of their names, but man, people, what was it, the Junior Dos Santos? They all shrank back down to.
Yep.
But I'm like, you know what? If you're in your 40s and you're on TRT, let them fucking do it, man. Like,
Overeem said that he can't have horse meat anymore. Fucking.
yeah. So
I know a lot of people think though, like these YouTube people are bad for the sport, but the truth is, like, they bring ice to the sport. To be honest,
they do.
And at the end of the day, like, people have to remember is that we're entertainers first.
Yeah.
Before you look at however you want to look at it, you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
That's number one, and then after that, whatever you want to call yourself.
You gotta put butts in seats.
Well, that's
You
why
gotta get the eyes.
I think I really like. I'm attracted to it. I've watched it like ever since I was younger, but I like it because it reminds me of like kind of the adult industry in a way. I mean, you guys aren't like fucking each other, but
Sure.
you're fucking each other up.
Behind the scenes, you'd be surprised. Shit. Everybody be fucking over each other like crazy. It's a doggy dog sport.
Well, probably
Right.
in that
Brutal.
And,
No, and that's
And I'm sure in the industry,
and that's how
you've
it
worked
is
in,
too. Like
yeah.
it's very cutthroat.
Some people are getting fucked
And
metaphorically.
No, very much so. But it's like when you show up to performances, like I mean, your outfit, your fucking presence, like everything, you need to like show. You need to come correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Same
and
thing.
you can
Sport.
tell the differentiation from different levels of girls.
And I think the competitive level also is very attractive to each other because, I mean, you're probably very competitive.
Not at all, actually.
not?
I'm not at all competitive.
With yourself, you're not?
With myself, I like to challenge myself.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I don't look at Blake being competitive with another guy. I mean, like, individually, I expect him to be competitive with himself.
Oh yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
mean. Like,
Yeah,
we're
like
competitive
even-
with our own
Even
selves.
going into the UFC Performance Institute, like I'm running the 3 energy systems, which is diagnostics tests to see where my athleticism is, and I mean I'm blowing away the numbers that I did prior, and that was only 5 weeks ago.
We're breaking records, like, at his
Breaking-
weight class in
yeah.
UFC history.
Yeah, like they're like we've never seen numbers this high ever.
wow, that's
You're-
crazy.
You're top 5 percentile, and so for me, looking at that, I'm like, damn, like that gives me
Motivation. You're right.
yeah, it gives me a lot of confidence because I'm like, sometimes you just don't know where you stand, and that's when I had like an upper respiratory infection taking the test. So now I'm good. I just got done winning a big fight in Perth, Australia, against one of the guys that's a native.
So that was that the card with the Volkanovski?
He's
Volkanovski
actually
versus Makhachev.
Volkanovski's coaches and team trains this guy.
Yeah.
So we fought Volkanovski's team.
Israel Adesanya's teammate.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
But we
Yeah.
don't
Hooker's
come
teammate.
into these fights like, oh, we're fighting this guy and that coach.
Sure.
Like I've told Blake several times, like, bro, I've gone into fights, short notice, and I've not beat, number 20 in the world. I've beat number 1 in the world. And I've not done it once. I've done it twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, endless amount of times. So when I go to these fights, I have total confidence that we're gonna beat the shit out of everybody.
We walked
You know?
in there like we own the place, like pre-fight interviews with Michael Bisping, John Anik, Dominic Cruz. They're like, he's like, oh mate, how you feeling? I was like, I feel like the show has arrived. He's like, that's a bold statement. I was like, I'm ready to make bold moves.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty.
he's like, all right. And, and they liked it, but maybe when we walked out the room, they were like, man, I don't know, 32,
We've heard
Yeah,
that.
that's,
But,
yeah,
but
that's
that's cool. Like so, like, what is the mindset leading up and
absolute utter confidence and belief in oneself and unwavering like belief and confidence.
what is the difference between the Contender Series and that Tough House?
The difference is both are shows for the UFC, but the Ultimate Fighter is a way for you to fight for a spot, and you have to fight like multiple times, make weight multiple times, in like a month or two, which I was in camp with Bubba the Menace McDaniels, And he was like, I wouldn't recommend it. I go, why? He's like, you have to make weight a lot. You have to fight 2-3 times in like a month or two. He's like, it's just strenuous. You're around guys that you're going to be fighting all the time. He's like, you're away from your coaches. You're not like with the coach that you're used to having. And he's like, so it's very strenuous and there's cameras on you the whole time. He's like, so it's one way of doing it. He's like, but that's not the route that I would go. So I wasn't a big fan of doing it that way. And Contender Series is like one and done, baby. I mean, like, even if you win the fight, you're not guaranteed a contract.
Yeah.
But you go on there, you put on a show, you smoke that guy, show why you should
Who
be
else
in there.
did who was it? Was it Sugar Sean O'Malley? Did he come off Contender?
Yep, Sugar Sean O'Malley, Raul
Okay.
Rosas
And on the
Jr..
Contender, they're not looking for, just like this is like a favorable fight. They're looking for number one in their country against number one in the other country kind of vibes,
which is me versus Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan,
Canada's number one.
4 pro titles in Canada, number 1 fighter out of TriStar Gym, which is where George St. Pierre is. The contract killer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but contract killers from a lot of really good fighters.
So by winning the Contender Series, did they give you a contract?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we fucked them up.
we smoked them. Didn't even get touched.
Yeah, no, I saw
Flawless
that.
victory. Mortal
Now
Kombat style.
I saw, some people were saying, and I heard even Dana White say, that he touched a little bit on your age of being 32.
Oh yeah,
What do you think about that? I mean, was he basically trying to say that at 32, that's where most people are priming or going, the opposite way?
Well, I mean, he was just being honest with himself, and he's also making TV. This
Yeah.
this guy's smart. He's
Genius.
he's like, first off, I'm going to start by saying, I'm gonna fuck with this guy, and then I'm gonna give him the contract, and then it's good, because then I had a video that went pretty viral. I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna give him the old Ed Bassmaster, like walk up, psh, unreal, not on my worst day, pal.
That's funny.
Yeah, I could do that easy. Then do it then. I ain't got time for that.
So sit down and do a contract, is he as tough as all these people say he is?
He's cool, man. He's just about his business. Like, even I saw him at the UFC PI today, and he's a gentleman, Hey, what's up, Dana?
Good
to
dude.
see you, man. He's like, hey, good to see you too, man. Glad you're in here. Good fight. Shook his hand. It's just about his business, man. He's a busy man, so it's like, am I gonna sit down and have coffee with him? Hopefully soon, but that time will come. But he's not unreasonable.
So
He's
have you
he's a
gotten a
decent
fight
guy.
done in the UFC since the Contender? Like, have you officially fought in the UFC now?
Oh my man, you gotta tune in for my
Yeah,
fights.
we gotta
bro.
give him a trivia question or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to look at your stats. So have you been there? You've been there for a while.
Yeah. So
Okay. What's your record?
What?
I think you're
8-0.
8-0. Yeah, okay. I
So
got
what fight was I on the UFC 284 Perth, Australia card?
that. I have no idea. I should have researched it. I just know you
Jeez.
won it.
We just talked about this, dude.
Yeah.
Was it Dan Hooker?
Alex
no.
Morgan.
Alex? Oh, yeah,
No.
you said it.
Alex Morgan?
No, that was
No.
No.
I was the second fight. I was
Second fight.
on early prelims.
Okay.
Yeah, and I fought Israel Adesanya, Volkanovski. I fought their teammate.
Their teammate.
Yeah,
Oh,
from
got
City
it.
Kickboxing, which they said there's no possible way that I could beat unless I took it to the ground, which
And what was his name?
Shane Young.
Who-
So
Shane
so
Young,
it's
okay.
so it's like a running joke for me. I'm like, man, okay, Dana, you got some jokes, bro. See, because you're talking that I'm old, so
Yeah.
you put me against young.
So how old was that guy? Just for sake.
He's like 29.
20.
But I'm saying,
Wow.
like, he said I'm old. The
Yeah.
guy's name is Shane Young.
Oh, got
So
it.
it's like old versus young,
Yeah.
that's
Some guy actually told me, speaking of saying that like that, some guy came up to me and he was like, yeah, man. He's like, she's a porn star. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, ask her if she knows. He goes, I got a friend in the business. His name's Miles
Oh.
Long. And I walk up to her. I'm not even thinking. I said, you know a guy Miles Long? And she starts laughing. And I'm like, I didn't realize what I was saying, but the guy was dead serious. But I'm like, what a name for.
There's a dude that films out here in Vegas. I think he films for Brazzers. Milo or something like that. Milo, something like that. Yeah, sound familiar? Yeah.
Did you know?
There's a lot of them.
I know.
A lot of
He's
the
pretty
Brazzers
cool, dude.
crews
Did
out
you
here.
know Tony Hawk's brother does porn?
Tony
No.
Hawk's brother?
Yeah, his brother Mike.
Mike Hawk.
Mike Hawk.
If you say it fast.
Oh my God.
Mike Hawk.
I need to look this up.
Oh my.
He's
word.
definitely not been around to our events.
Yeah, he's a big deal.
That's
I
crazy.
bet
is
he
like
is.
wild,
I
right?
bet he is.
Who was the other guy on that was in the Izzy's camp somewhere in that range that lost a pretty big fight? Somewhere in the maybe 55. Forget what.
Dan Hooker.
Not Dan Hooker.
He got knocked out by Chandler.
Yep, not him. It's kind of a newer guy, a lighter guy, but he was from his gym. He's supposed to win.
City Kickboxing.
Yep.
Shit, it was probably Shane Young. Probably a fool out of smoke.
I'll have to look it out. So what's next? Who
Oh.
is it? Who they? I mean, do you have somebody in mind, or is it basically who they pick for you?
I mean, it's whoever they pick. For me, there's no opponent.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
like-
I'm.
Are
so,
you
We want the
gonna-
belts. We want the
Yeah.
belts. We want to come
Number
for the
one,
best.
We're going for the
We're
number one
not
spot.
going around anybody. We want the belts. We want to show who we are.
Are you
Yeah.
guys gonna call? Are you gonna call people out?
We want the
when you-
champions, you know.
Yeah.
We want the champions. We
I,
want.
well, I got one right. I got one right off the bat that I'm a huge fan of. What would you think about a fight with Max Holloway?
Oh, that'd be amazing. He beat a teammate of mine back in 2018 or 19. 2018. I think it was 2000.
Yeah,
Not 2008, 2009.
He's actually
Oh, wow.
probably
Yeah.
he's actually
Wow.
Back in
probably
the-
one of my favorite fighters.
Yeah, Max Holloway. He said he has the best boxing in MMA.
He said that.
Yeah, he said that in a fight against a guy.
Is that? Do you guys think that's true?
Not anymore.
Not
Nah.
anymore.
Not that we're in the UFC.
Nah.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, I know Max Holloway's had a long break. I mean, I thought I heard he was coming back here. I don't know who he's fighting, but I mean, do you think so? Like the deal with him and Volkanovski. Do you think when somebody, it seems like when they rematch, it's always the same result. So I kind of feel like when somebody's got somebody's number, it's very hard to overturn that outcome.
Sometimes that person's just like in their head, like it's like subconsciously programmed that they remember that loss, they remember the feeling. You never forget a loss. You
Yeah.
know, like it's tough. So yeah, I mean
It's kind
sometimes
of like PTSD.
yeah,
you know,
it is.
like,
It is. It's
fuck.
a certain trauma. I mean, look at Israel Adesanya
Yeah.
against Pereira. Like he almost had Pereira out of there so many times,
Yeah,
but
but-
it was like there was just something that
That's why I said I think it's in your head. Like, you know,
Yeah.
even going back to the kickboxing.
And believe it or not, when you lose, it can kind of be addicting in a way. And it's crazy how I say that, but it's like addicting,
see
like
it.
where you lost, and you sometimes, depending on how you take care of it, the loss, like they'll greet you with like, oh, no big deal, it's fine. So you feel that, all right, well, nobody fucking really got bothered by it, and you go back and you're
Yeah.
about to lose, and you just say, fuck it, all right, no big deal again. So it's an addiction that kind of almost happens.
Like you want to get that good comeback.
Yeah,
What do you
it's crazy.
Have you ever been knocked out before?
never.
Good. Now, what do you think about that? So you think when people take knockouts, like I feel like when people take
a trauma.
knockouts, I feel like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
something a lot of them can't get over.
Deep seated trauma.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
trauma.
Do you
it's
think,
an embarrassment. It's a lot of shit.
Do you think
Yeah.
Izzy, you know, everybody was talking about, you know, making the notion that they stopped the fight early? I'm pretty sure he was out of there.
Nah, I didn't stop nothing early.
Yeah, I
They
think.
didn't stop nothing early. It was the fifth round. He was getting smoked. If you saw the combinations
Yeah.
where
Oh, I saw. Yeah,
where
yeah.
he was getting hit with,
he was
at
on
the
his way
end,
out.
and the thing is, it was too many unanswered punches, meaning like he's getting hit, he ain't hitting Pereira back, and Pereira's a fucking warrior, man.
Dude,
That
why
guy's
does
a
that guy?
big
Yeah, why does
guy.
that guy look twice the size of everybody? Like, same weight, twice the size.
You know what though? They because I knocked out Pereira's teammate Regivaldo Carvalho when I fought for the CFFC title, 2-time featherweight world champion. People keep calling me featherweight world champion over there. It was 2-time. Got to
2-time.
correct them on that.
2 times.
We won 2 belts. I choked that motherfucker out, and then knocked that fool out. And he was training side by side with Pereira, and those motherfuckers, those they caught a lot of weight, and they were.
He barely made weight.
He barely made
That's
weight.
what I said. That guy. I mean, that
He
guy looks
barely
like
made
a
weight.
fucking.
Because that fool,
statue
he was taller
still.
than us, like when we fought him, and he can fucking
He
crack.
was like 6 foot, and he was throwing bombs for the first round.
Do you think he beats Israel in a rematch?
No.
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 I hope not. I mean, I'm a big Izzy fan. I think he's.
Where are they fighting?
He's a
Brazil.
good dude.
Ah, you never know.
Ooh, they're
bro.
going back to his area. of the
That
world.
shit for some people, it's different, bro.
Yeah.
Well, Brazil,
you know what?
they're really rough,
Brazil is
ruthless
different.
on the
when
on the
Moreno
people.
beat Figueiredo,
Oh, I know,
bro, they were the disrespect to the world
Absolutely.
champion. They don't care, man.
Yeah.
Like,
What do they say? I heard they do a certain
They
chant.
threw
like,
shit at him too.
Va mujer, va mujer.
and what? I'm gonna kill you.
I'm
Is
gonna
that?
kill you.
Yeah, I've heard.
And
that.
one of my jiu-jitsu coaches from back in the day, he's like, we went over to that fight and fought that Brazilian that beat Chito Vera and beat Chito Vera very bad. And
Those guys are 135, right?
135, and
Okay,
he's
so I
like,
wanna-
and he was like, bro, like you really feel like your life is at risk when you're over there. And he's like,
I
where we
believe it.
were, it wasn't nice.
I love it.
We
I wanna
barely
fight in Brazil.
left. We're in the favelas. Yeah, actually, we've been collecting countries.
Do you remember when the UFC was out there and I guess they were at a park or something? The whole squad got robbed. Do you remember that?
fuck?
Like it was UFC staff
That's
people,
funny.
not
Who was
fighters.
that?
In
Sounds-
Brazil.
In
Sounds
Brazil.
Who,
about
who
right.
was the guy from? He's from Florida, controversial guy.
Kobe Covington.
Colby Covington. They did
Yeah.
not like him, and he was saying so. He was calling them dirty, filthy animals.
What do you guys think
Oh,
of that
that might have
guy?
been Chael Sonnen.
Oh yeah, Chael had a.
That might have been
super
Chael
bad.
Sonnen too. Chael
Yeah,
Sonnen.
yeah.
Oh, no, he-
oh, when he fought
Anderson
Anderson
Silva.
Silva, that was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kobe.
He was
Covington.
like the first one that started.
Yes.
that.
What do you think of him?
The whole
Of who?
country
Kobe
hated
Covington?
him.
I don't know. I haven't done much tape on him, to be honest.
Really good fighter.
I feel like he's a tough dude, man.
Really good fighter.
I don't feel he's gotten the full credit he deserves. Is Sugar Sean your weight? 145?
135.
135. So then, and that's Aljamain Sterling, 135.
135.
You think you could take out Cejudo?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell him. Come, because did he fight at 45 before? I don't know if he's going
Nah,
down,
he-
going
He
up.
fought 35 and then he fought 25.
25.
against
Okay.
TJ Dillashaw.
Do you think he's going to beat the Eljo?
It'll be interesting because he's had a lot of time off.
Yeah. No, that's.
He's had a lot of time off, so it's you just don't know how people's bodies are gonna respond after all that time off. But I'll say, Henry Cejudo is a fucking gangster, man.
I feel like he's never stopped training.
he's
been in the
a
gym every day.
really cool guy too, man. Like super
I
educated.
heard he was is
really
he
really nice
so-called
guy.
John Jones, has he been John
Yep.
Jones's coach here?
Yep.
Basically, this training
Yep.
camp, which is
Oh wow.
Yep.
Wow.
which is nuts.
Yep.
To not see.
Over in Arizona, I actually trained up at Fight Ready for a little bit, and yeah, Henry's the king of cringe, but he's off camera, bro.
Yeah.
Like, he just does that persona, but off camera, cool guy.
No, I can tell
Super.
he's
Yeah.
Super cool guy.
he's
man.
gonna be around MMA forever.
Forever.
He'll be a coach and so on and so forth. But that's kind of shocking. John Jones goes to Henry Cejudo for a camp. That's actually insane.
Yeah, because his mindset is, I mean, that's why I went with Flame. You know, like his fucking mindset is. He's a genius in the way he postures himself and the way that he talks to himself, and then the way that he talks to me. I mean, like it's been pretty much a year since my little brother committed suicide.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
Sorry.
I read that today.
Yeah, and I met him right around that time, and like, fuck, man, like me and my little brother like talked about like depression, and
How old was
And
your brother when this
he
happened?
was 20.
So he was 20 and you were.
I was 30, 31.
Oh, so you had a pretty big gap in between you guys.
Yeah. It was like a 10-year gap.
And was it a depression thing, basically?
Yeah, man, it was depression. It was. You know, he was just like trying to get ahead, and
Was
you
he a
know,
fighter too?
Nah, man. He was just like kind of like a nerdy kid growing up. You know, I liked video games a lot, and
So were you guys close, or was that age gap, pretty?
well, the age gap was definitely something that like a big fork in our relationship. It was just like different times, different periods,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then we had different dads, but you know that didn't make a difference. I loved him, and when he was 10, yeah, when he was 10, my family moved to Georgia, so there was like 8 years where, well, like 3 years where I didn't really see him, and then I moved down there for a year. One of the Golden Gloves was training, and like always like teased him, big brothered him, like would rough him up and shit, and goof around with him. But the last year, really he would FaceTime me all the time, and we would talk a lot, And
So did you pick up on any of this, or was this all just a?
Yeah, man, because like I go to AA, and and I was on my way to a meeting, and I mean, me and him talked about it a lot, because like fuck, I was like, at the time, I was like, suicide was just like an everyday thought, it's like typically like multiple times a day. I was just, oh yeah, like that's fucking normal, like every day, of course.
So
like,
you were drinking a lot, drinking heavily.
I used to.
Okay. Was he drinking at the time? or-
The times I don't think not too often, but
Yeah.
the times that he did, like it fucked him over, because like what really fucked him up is like me and him are talking, we're trying to help each other out, like I'm having a lot of success with MMA and in my life, and he would ask me questions about, hey, like, how do you start a business, like what do you do with this financially, I want to get ahead, I'm doing this and that, and I would always just be encouraging to him.
Yeah.
And I'd just be like, hey, like this is what I did. Try this, read this book. I like listening to this, and be like, all right, like, all right, I'm gonna try that out then. I'm like, all right, cool. And he just felt like the black sheep of the family. He was half black. And then like his girlfriend at the time was ashamed of it, and then he had a black baby, and their family was like,
Sorry, are you half black?
no, I'm fully white. We have different dads.
So different
Okay.
dads. So
Different
his
dads,
dad
same
was
mom.
black, your dad was white.
Yeah, and then his
Okay.
like girlfriend at the time, who he's got his baby mama, like their family like hated white people.
And he was living in Georgia.
Georgia.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
so Georgia was
Oh.
probably
Yeah,
hella,
their
hella
fam-
racist.
their
and-
family like hated white people. So he was like, he's all confused like about like his race. He's like, oh no, I'm black. I don't even identify as like half white. I was like, bro, like stop, like who's talking to you like this? And he's like, oh, fucking da 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 da. I was like, bro, chill. I was like,
That's
fuck
terrible.
that. I was like, so he's like getting all these mixed signals. It's like fucking him up, and then so like drinking, right? I was like always telling him like, hey, bro, like our family ain't good with alcohol, bro. Like it's one of the
Yeah.
things, like we can't go around. We can't, no drugs, no alcohol. It just doesn't work with us. So what happened was he was drinking with his friend, this girl that he'd been friends with for like 8 years. Well, they took a Xanax too.
Oh.
And then like they hooked up that night, and then she wanted to see his phone. He's like, no, you can't have my phone. And she was like, let me see your phone. He's like, no, you didn't see my phone. What are you talking about? And like he's only had sex with like 4 or 5 girls. Like he's not even like he's like a nerdy kid, and he was like just starting to get style and swagger, like he's like,
Yeah.
oh, Balenciaga this, da 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 da. And he was like really starting to take care of himself. Well, this girl who he's been friends with for 8 years, 8 fucking years, says that she didn't have voluntary sex with him, and that he
Oh, God.
broke into her house, breaking and entering, and then raped her.
Oh my God.
And so she calls the cops on him. They come to my house. My brother's like fucking butt naked at the front doorstep, asking to get in. And my mom's like, what the fuck is going on? She sees him on the ring, lets him inside, and then the cops come in. They're like, hey, we got a call about da 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 da. And my mom's like, what the fuck is going on? So she's like, he's in here. The cops get him. He gets put up in jail for like 7 months. And he's sitting in there,
Oh,
and I
man.
guess he tried
Oh,
making a few suicide attempts in there, you know, and I'm like, suicide, what the fuck are you gonna do? Like use a spork, you know, like, but there's bed sheets in there. And so fucking
This actually happened in jail.
yeah. And
Ugh.
or no, it didn't happen
Oh,
in
it didn't
jail.
happen in
So
jail.
so he's in there for 7 months. We get an attorney. My mom gets an attorney for him, and then the attorney's like, wait, what? Like this shit don't even add up. He's known her for how long? 8 years. She goes, no. No, nobody's raping anybody that they know for 8 years after both of them decided to drink together and this. She said, I don't care if this is so she goes and the attorney gets him out like that. Like basically a knock on his door, hey, Bilder. He's like, hey, what's up? They're like, grab your shit, you're getting out. He's like, what? They're like, yeah. Like the girl said, oh yeah, he didn't do it. 7 months later. Yeah.
I say I've heard that.
I'm over it. I don't want to deal with the court. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to do any of this. He didn't do it. So now you're 20 years old. As a young man, you just been locked up for half a year. Half a year? Fuck, this your whole fucking life.
Yeah, and
Your
you
whole
just have
fucking
the
life.
the reputation of everybody talking about it.
Every one of his friends goes and turns their back on him and all this and fucking saying that this and that. He just got out of high school. All his friends are talking bad on him, saying that he did all this, word of mouth. And then now my mom's a foster parent. So he gets out of jail. Well, he can't go back to the house that my mom's house because she has foster children. So she's a foster parent. So they don't allow that because it was because although he wasn't convicted of the crime, it's still on his record. Therefore,
sex crime.
he can't.
So one of the foster children then were a female.
It
Was that
doesn't
your mom?
matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's boys and girls, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But because that's on his record, guilty or innocent, in the state of Georgia, they're like, nope. You're like, you gotta go live on your own now. So now he's this 20-year-old kid. He's got a kid, and then he's got another baby on the way from a different baby mom. And he just did 7 months in jail. He's been depressed the whole time. Tried committing suicide a few times, and he's out and he's fucking losing his mind. He's trying to figure it out. He's it's like, and I'm talking to him. He's like, hey, I'm trying this. I want to do this. I want to try that. I go, bro, try everything. Try everything under the sun until you find what you love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like Nipsey Hussle said, find your purpose or you're wasting air.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it though. You guys are scared, you know? And 5 months after, you know, like 4 months later, he hit me up and I got that phone call from him and he's like, I fucked up. I was like, what do you mean you fucked up? He's like, I fucked up. I was like, how? And he's like, I ate some pills. I was like, what pills? Is sleeping pills. I was like, how many? He's like, the whole bottle. I was fucking started crying. I was like, man, like 3 things off the bat, bro. 3 things.
What type of sleeping pills were
I don't
they?
even know.
Like
I didn't
prescription or
probably not.
could be anything. If you eat the whole bottle, it's gonna be bad on anything.
I didn't even want to know. I just told him 3 things, bro. I go, 1, I love you. 2, thank you for calling me. Because I tried some shit like that in 8th grade, and I puked all that shit up. And I said, God, if you have a reason for me to stay alive, keep me alive, and please guide my journey on this earth. And if it's not meant to be, I ain't telling nobody in my family, and I'm gonna fucking die in my sleep. But my ego and my pride was too strong. He fucking hit me up, and I was fucking balling. I was just like, dude, I'm going to this fucking AA meeting. I was like, I gotta be there in like 5 minutes. I was like, it's really important for me and my sobriety to be there. And I was like, but I fucking love you, and I'm glad that you called. And 3, you gotta get help. I was like, I'll pay for your Uber. I'll pay for fucking Starbucks for you to get that. I was like, I'll do whatever the fuck you need. I was like, you regret this shit, don't you? And he's like, yeah. I was like, are you all right? And he's like, I puked a little bit, but I'm good. I just feel sleepy. I go, bro, do not fucking go to sleep. I go, take your ass to the fucking hospital. They'll pump your stomach with coal. They'll be able to watch you. I was like, but bro, fucking please tell me that you'll get help. And he's like, I got you. I was like, all right, bet. I was like, I'm gonna hit you up after this meeting and see how you're doing. Hit him up. I was like, yo, you good? He's like, yeah, I'm good. He's like, I was like a little scared there for a little bit, but I'm good. I was like, bro, you're gonna don't do that shit, bro. I was like, fucking love you, bro. I was like, you're gonna regret it. I was like, you regret it, don't you? He's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, bro, you can't be like this, bro. I was like, come on, man. I was like, you got your son De Niro. I was like, you got another baby on the way, Catalea. And I was like, we love you, bro. I was like, come on, you gotta love yourself. I was like, we gotta do this together, you know? And he's like, yeah. I was like, bro, go to the gym. I was like, you need to move. You need to, like, the movement will help you. Sweating will help you. Like, whatever you need, I got you. And a month later, bro, he went to a trailer park in the middle of the night, and he had a I don't know what the fuck, man. He had a blue bed sheet and a pink bed sheet, and he hung himself with the blue bed sheet on the monkey bar.
So how long ago was this?
This was a year and 1 day ago.
So recent.
Like
It was his 1 year anniversary yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that
that's really tough. Like my dad went to jail, and he actually passed away in jail. But
Yeah.
it was the same thing. Like he was going in, coming out, and he felt like he didn't have a purpose. He didn't have any direction. And I was telling him everything. I'm like, go to the gym, do something.
Yep.
He really didn't need to work, but it's like it's so hard to like help yourself, help your family member, and and even like go through it.
Yeah.
So he didn't get to see you win the Contender Series.
No,
That was
he
for-
didn't. No, so
Was that a big driving force for you with all of that?
So he committed suicide, and I went to go see him. I started getting fucked up again. I started drinking again, and I just didn't know how to handle it, bro. I was like, man, everybody in, hey, oh yeah, no, I got through this when this person died, this person. I was like, I just couldn't wrap my head around it because I was just talking to him about it, and I was like, man, fuck this. I was like, I know it's not the answer. I know it's not the answer, but I just like. I don't give a fuck about anything right now. I was like, I'm gonna go do this, whatever. I'm gonna go see him. So I go see him. I view his body that day, and then he's just cold, and I'm like, I can't fucking believe this shit. It's like I was off to the side and shit. I was like,
So you went to like where the coroner, like where the
at the morgue and shit.
Yeah.
And they had him, and I was like, yo, like, how did he do it? And he's like, oh, it was a bed sheet. I was like, fucking bed sheet. And I was like, he's like, yeah, that one right there. He's like, do you want it? I was like, fuck no, hell no. I was like, absolutely not. I was like, but
that's a crazy.
I was
thing
like,
to
but
say.
damn, but like, I don't know. Some people,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Like, I guess, for me, I was just like, nah, man, like, I can't.
So no warning, nothing. You didn't get any call that day, anything.
Nope. And he called me a lot for a lot of things. But he left a few people some voicemails. Just told him that he loved them.
And then right now, how old are his kids?
De Niro is like, I think De Niro's 3 years old, and Catalea is 8 months old. She was born right around my birthday.
And you said it's two different baby moms.
Yep, two different baby
So
moms.
do you have are you overseeing these relationships and trying to?
Yeah, well, his first baby mom, like, she pretty much got pregnant just to like lock him down, and so I guess she's like MIA.
Wow.
She left the baby with her grandma,
Wow.
and she dipped out. She like ran off to like North Carolina or something like that.
That's fucked up.
It's like it's so messy. And Braden grew up without his father. And at the end, like, he was just like, man, I miss my father. Da 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 da. I'm like, bro, Braden, we raised you, bro. Like, your dad didn't I'm sorry to say, but bro, he didn't want anything to do with you, bro. He had the chance to meet you. Like, he just didn't want to. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, it's not you though. I was like, it's him. I was like, it's like, you have to understand that, bro. And I'm like, stick around the people that love you. Stick around the people that answer your calls. He never answered your call, bro. Like, he never like, and he just couldn't get over it. It's
So you're
just
saying
like,
this was your brother's dad?
yeah, Robert.
Yeah. So he just
Yep.
had no. I don't know. Yeah, I still don't understand. I have 2 kids, one
Yeah.
3, one 17.
Yep.
But I don't understand how parents like
I
do not want to be in there.
Like I check on my daughter all the time if I'm ever like I can't help it, and I always make time to see her, but I don't understand how parents cannot like be around their children.
Yeah, and, like my dad like was never a, like he was always, he would come back like in and out of our lives, and like he would fuck up our family household every time he was around, and I was just like, fuck this guy. I was like, this guy is not my father.
No.
He's just like some dude. I was like, and I really looked up to him and really admired him, and then when he come back, he just fucking destroyed our household, and the energy was all off, and I was just like, fuck this. I was like, I really looked up to this guy. This guy was my hero. And every time that he would go back and relapse, I would get fucked up as a kid. And like that suicide attempt was when he was back. And I was like, man, fuck this guy. I was like, I hate being around this guy. He's fucking verbally abusive, beat my mom, fucking snatched me by the neck, pinned me up against the wall. It was a fucking dick. And I was just like, man, fuck you. Like, I don't have those resentments towards him anymore. I just realized that people are people, and people, it's not an issue with me. It's just he's going through his own shit. He had a bad relationship with his father, so but
I tell people all the time. I said you can't choose your mom and dad. Sometimes you get a good one, sometimes you don't. But you just got to carry on.
Do you think that kind of like gave you the drive to join the fight community?
Yeah, well, for me at a really young age, like I just remember, like, so you were talking about ayahuasca, right?
Yeah.
So when I went and did ayahuasca in Iquitos, Peru. We flew into Lima. Went to Iquitos because I was like depressed or suicidal. I was either gonna take my own fucking life or like, I was gonna go on this like spiritual vision quest and turn it all around. So I go out there, and like I'm going to church. I'm doing all this. I'm fucking doing AA. I'm sober. I'm like fucking like 3.5 years sober. And I'm like, dude, I feel like killing myself every fucking day. And everything is telling me to just fucking swerve into a median. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. And this is before Braden, and I'm like, but I'm like, I'm gonna find a solution for this. So I start like looking up. There's a lot of people doing it. It's before it's like super big, but it's like getting big. Like it's starting to get more notoriety, and a lot of people are saying that it helped with like depression and suicide. So I was like, all right, bet. I go out there. I go to the Kalahari retreat in Iquitos. You take a moto taxi up to the river. The river boat takes you an hour up the Amazon River. Then you get into this like little dock area in a town, and then you walk inland about an hour and a half to this retreat. And I remember the first night that I was there, fucking, it was like I just had like so many moments of clarity of just realizing like.
So you did do the ayahuasca thing or whatever?
That's
Yeah,
what I hear.
There's there's 3 nights in one day that you do it. I just did it 3 nights, and the first night was like, that was like where I had like my moment of clarity, where it was just like, I realized like.
So would you say overall it worked?
Yeah, man. Yeah, but I would say it's not the end all be all. You know, you had these visualizations. Yeah, you had like you reconstructed a lot of things in a different way, and definitely gave you like a different perception and perspective of like how things were. But I remember like in that, like it took me back to when I was a kid. And I remember like my aunt, my dad's sister being right here holding my chest, and I could feel it. And I look up, and it's the same fucking scene as when I was 5. And I was like looking around, and my dad's like fucking, and I could see it clearer than I remember it. And my dad's like, I don't fucking like this shit, fucking rah, rah, rah. He's going fucking insane. And I'm like watching it like this, and I'm like, holy shit, what's going on? I'm 5, and then like my mom's like, chill out. Bap! He fucking hits her, and I'm like, oh shit, like all my senses are heightened. I'm feeling it. I'm perspirating, and I'm like, holy shit, I can feel my aunt's hand on my chest, and I'm going, and I relive this fucking traumatic experience boom, hits my mom. I'm calling the cops. Unplugs the phone, throws my mom down the hallway in the fucking trailer park. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? My older brother goes to grab him. Boom! Fucking, he gets knocked down. He's like, you fat fucking bitch. He's like, fucking grabs all her pills. Swallow some more pills. Boom! Throwing silverware everywhere. Dishes. All this shit's fucking breaking. And my aunt Jennifer, rest in peace, she's like, Mark, chill the fuck out. Stop. Relax. Get out of here. And he's like, fuck you, you want some? And she's like, Mark. My mom's like, police are on the way. He's like, what? And he's like, if I see you again, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you fat bitch. Fuck you. And he dips out, and I was like,
Whoa.
what the fuck?
So you saw all this on ayahuasca?
I was reliving the earliest childhood memory that I have, and I see all this, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then there's like this feminine, like divine feminine spirit
Mother
that's
hen.
like yeah, like Madre Ayahuasca as they called it. And like they're playing this Icaros where it's like this music that's supposed to guide your spirit, but I'm like fully enthralled in this, and I'm like reliving this experience, and I'm like this little kid, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And this voice is like, how do you feel? And I was like, fuck, I feel scared. I was like, how else do you feel? I was like, I feel powerless. You know, it's like, how else do you feel? I was like, I just feel sad. You know, I felt like scared, powerless, and sad. And she's like, interesting. She's like, it's funny how past traumas from childhood can play out in everyday life as an adult. I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, it's funny that a child who's so scared has to find courage in weird ways, and you have to find it through doing noble, courageous, insanely audacious acts. And she's like, it's funny how somebody who was so powerless had to become the strongest motherfucker to ever face this fucking earth. And she's like, and somebody who's sad had to overcome that and try and put on a happy face and try and really bring joy to everybody that's around them. And she's like, your past traumas have presented you with the best version of yourself. She's like, so all those times that, you know, you're just putting on you might be sad, you might be pissed off, you might be this, but you try and be the best version of everybody else. Even if they're being a dickhead to you, you try and be nice to them. You try and be kind to them because you don't know what they're going through.
Totally.
And like
Totally.
when I was like 6, I looked up to all these like wrestlers, and I remember being at kindergarten, and I flexed my arm because I was at Macho Man, Randy Savage, and Hulk Hogan, and I was like, and I flexed my arm, and it didn't even move, and I was like, and I go, fuck, man, I'm one of the weakest people I know. I go, but when I grow up, and this is still my motto to this day. I told myself when I was like fucking 5 or 6 at kindergarten, I go, when I grow up, I'm gonna be the biggest, baddest motherfucker that anybody's ever met, and people are gonna feel my presence when I walk in a room.
Wow.
I told myself that.
What did I was reading something when you were talking
That's
about
like
this.
your mantra.
You said
That's my mantra.
Yeah, you said
like
Andrew
5 or 6.
Tate had made a comment. You said he had said something in regards to people who commit suicide.
Yeah, he said that they're cowards.
Yeah,
And a guy at church on Sunday was like, he's like, do you think God would want that? And I was like, help me. I go, look, man, it ain't all fucking peaches and cream. I go, man, he's the reason why he said it isn't so you think that you're a fucking coward. He's like, well, don't you think that somebody might think that they're a coward and they might be in a moment of despair and say, well, what's the point? I'm a coward. Kill myself. I go, perhaps. I go, honestly, it could happen. I don't know. I think the worst thing for a man to be is to think of himself as a fucking coward. I was like, nobody wants to feel like they're a coward or they're powerless or anything like that. And when you're depressed and you're down and out, you're so fucked up in your head, and like all you're doing is thinking about yourself and all the things that you fucked up in the past. It's all past shit. It's all thinking about your past. all depression is the past, and then anxiety is the future. So if you're thinking in the past, oh, I fucked up back then, I did all this, and it's like, okay, well, fucking I'm a coward. It's like, well, how do we fix that? You know, and like what he's doing is fucking genius. What he's doing is short circuiting that thing. Because I'm listening to what
So you understood what he really meant by it without.
in the moment. I'm fucking still depressed, and like I was after my brother's death. I go, look, I don't vibrate at that frequency anymore. I don't go down that pathway. And I was telling everybody, I go, yeah, I don't do that anymore. And they're like, oh, well, you know, it is chemical imbalance in the brain. Fucking just like Andrew Tate says. He's like, I fucking say, no, I don't believe in that. Well, me, I don't have anybody backing that. You know, so I say it. 2 months later, I'm fucking depressed again because I'm telling everybody that I don't believe in depression and that I don't vibrate at that frequency and I don't go down that path in my brain anymore. Well, 2 months later, so many fucking people said it to me that I start feeling fucking sorry for myself and start feeling depressed and start feeling down and out. And I'm fucking suicidal again. Then I hear this guy and I'm like, oh, this fucking bald-headed fucking guy with glasses.
No,
And I was like, this guy's everywhere. What the fuck? And then he's talking about depression. And I was like, all right, well, I'm feeling some type of fucking way. I was like, so I'll just listen to it, whatever. And he's like, if you commit suicide, he's like, you're a fucking coward, especially if you have kids. I was like, that's my little brother.
Yeah.
I was like, he's got kids and committed suicide. But I'm gonna give this guy a chance. I was like, I wonder if he's saying that to get men or women to fucking sit back and realize, like, wait, hold up, I got other people that rely on me. You know, I got other people that are looking up to me and that need me, and are solely dependent on me. They're looking around and they have to have me. And he's like, it's like believing in, it's all belief. Like whatever you believe is true, you know, and whether you think you're wrong or right, you're right, you know, or whether you think you can or you can't, you're both right. You know, it's like what Henry Ford said, and he said that it's like two people believing in ghosts. One person goes into the room, they go to fall asleep, they hear a noise, they're like, oh my gosh, it's a ghost. Fuck, there's ghosts in the room. Oh my gosh, I gotta go find the fucking Ghostbusters. I gotta go find this. I gotta look it up. Who's over there? Maybe it's over here. Is it in the closet? Maybe it's under the bed. And they're fucking freaking out about this fucking thing. And then another person goes in, they don't believe in ghosts. Fucking they hear a noise. Must be the wind. They go back to sleep. Boom. And it's like people will argue with me about that, but it's like, okay, well, how come there's so many people over the years that have statistically like taken fucking sugar pills, not knowing that they're sugar pills? 3 years later, their depression's cured, they're living a good life, they got a family or whatever the fuck. And then they're like, yeah, those pills that we gave you, how are they working? They're, oh, fantastic. Yep, haven't had depression or suicidal thought or anything in fucking 3 years, man. I'm doing great. Like, oh yeah, but those pills that we gave you, they're fucking sugar.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, yeah, they're sugar. But it's like the belief.
That's the
It
belief.
is a belief.
Yeah.
I really believe in the power of law of attraction. And, you know, when I started dancing and when I started getting into the adult industry, like before I got into it, I got really in tune with like some people in the Burning Man community, and I started learning about spirituality, and I started learning about mantras, and I just did it. Like one of my homegirls that was going to the strip club, and she's like, oh, I always light my money candle. Every time I light my money candle, I make money. And I was like, what? Bet. I'm going to go get a money candle.
Yeah.
And then my other homegirl,
I got to get that candle.
I got
She
you.
put
I
me
put
onto that
him
shit.
onto
It
it.
fucking works.
And then my other girlfriend, she's like from Australia. Love you, Alicia. But she gave me all these like mantras for like different type of like meanings. If it's like health, wealth, you know, whatever. Even just confidence in yourself. Like, and so you say it every day from morning and at night. And keep in mind, I was raised Catholic. I went to church school and high school.
Yeah.
And, you know, I did the things and whatever. I never resonated with me. I tried Christian church. It just never resonated with me until I started doing this shit. I tell you, I do this shit and I have gemstones. I know some people don't believe in them, but I charge those bitches in the sun and the moon. Every time I've gone to work, and even this just happened like just this past weekend. I had a big bill that I had to pay. I'm like, fuck, I got to go into work. I'm fucking tired. I just worked this convention, went in, and out of nowhere, the fucking money comes, or I get a call, or I get this, and it's just been my driving thing.
Didn't Drake pop in?
Drake popped in twice, actually.
What?
Drake popped in on Saturday. So I fell asleep on Friday, so I didn't even go to work on Friday because I normally go to work on Friday, and I had to take a rest, and I had to work like the whole weekend. And so went to work on Saturday, and I have been hearing now Lemon Pepper's about he shouts out Rhino, and I've been hearing from the host that Drake comes in. Never been in when he did. And then I'm walking around, and they had one of the side doors open. It was fucking cold. Like, we're walking around in fucking underwear. Like, close that shit. And they're like, oh no, we got a hip hop guy. And so I got talked to the security guard, and I was like, yo, what's up? I was like, let me get in that room. And he's like, nah. He's like, Drake's in there. I was like, what? I was like, let me get in there. And he's like, oh, he only likes big booty bitches. And I was like, I don't got a big booty. I was like, but I'm a hustler. I'll get in there. And he was like, nah. And I was like, yo. And I was like, I'm gonna tip you. And he was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, hold on, let me see what I could do. But I didn't get in. They didn't let me in, and he had already left. But Drake came in. He like didn't spend any money, and then so then when he finally came in on Saturday night, I had a guy who like went into the VIP, and he actually dropped a bunch of money on me, put a bunch of fucking chips in my purse. Like he just kept, and he was one of those dudes. He just wanted to storytell in your ear and have the curtain closed because he didn't want the bouncer to look. Which I was like, okay, whatever. And then at the end, all the girls had to separate the ones. Like, that shit is a bitch. Like, I don't care. I'm like, just give it to me in hundreds. But they like that shit. So then I was like, okay, whatever. Didn't get to see. I saw him passing by, but I didn't get to see him. So then I went on Sunday, and I never work Sundays. So Sundays I'm always with my daughter. That's mine and her day. But I was like, I didn't work Friday, so I need one more day. Go in, I'm working, still making a good night, and I had this fetish dude. He was like, he was giving me hundreds. He didn't want me to dance with him. I was like, oh, cool. Like, there wasn't a lot of people. And then all of a sudden, the back room was open, or this back lounge, and then my guy was there, the security guard that I was talking to, and I was like, yo, what's up? He's like, Drake's here. And I was like, what? What the fuck? I was like, you're letting me in this time. And he was like, he's like, hold on. He's like, I'm going to let you do it. And he was like, you take care of me? He's like, I got you. I'm like, bet. Went in there. I fucking was like on my phone. And it was funny. The security guards were like, don't be a groupie hoe. I'm like, nah.
They're telling you how to be.
I'm like, I don't do that shit. And then like, I go to the bar, act casual, I'm like on my phone texting my girl. She's like, Drake's here. I'm like, yeah, I'm in here. She's like, they're saying it's the capacity. I'm like, you gotta know how to do it. So then I put my phone down, and the motherfucker's right in back of me. Drake was in back of me, and I tried to be like cool. I was like, I didn't get on him because there's a protocol that you got to do, and he just started dancing. But yeah, no, the crew. I mean, they spent money on the ones, but they didn't really drop like big money. But
no celebrities ever
was
really
pretty.
do. At least it wasn't Usher bucks, fake money.
Ush bucks. Oh, we were pissed.
So what's the game plan moving forward? How many times a year do you plan on fighting?
I would like to 4 or 5 times a year.
Woo! So you really want to get in there?
Yeah, man. I want to, like I'm not in a rush, but I want to stay active.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Mike, it was different back in the day. I mean, you look at like Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson fought fucking like 16 times in a year.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, that's what I don't understand. A lot of these guys now, that, I feel like Israel for one. He was fighting 4 times a year. He was at his prime. It's keeping you active. But when these guys slow down to 1 or 2 fights, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you got to get it in.
It's also like promotional stuff too. Like the UFC is like trying to build fights, like trying to like get these 2 fights, get a fight with this guy and this guy to happen. Boom, and then okay, now we're gonna match you 2 up after this. So you're gonna be fighting the winner of these 2. And so they try, like Joanna Jędrzejczyk When
Yep.
she came
Ooh,
in,
yeah.
ooh,
she
bad
was a
bitch,
Yeah.
monster. She was like pissed off that she couldn't fight like every 2 weeks. Like she was like, she was like,
After the hematoma.
oh,
Dude, I saw that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
probably
I
the
saw
best
that
thing
shit
I've seen in the
live.
UFC.
maybe
Wow.
you should do like one time a year.
Wow.
You look like an alien. Like that shit was.
That was
wild.
scary.
That was wild.
Back then, there wasn't that much regulation though, so people would
Yeah.
be able to fight more
Yeah.
than once. Now,
Yeah.
now they do it because of the safety protocol. So
Yeah.
after every fight, you always get suspended, which is not a bad thing. But
Yep.
they'll suspend you like 12 days, 30
Wow.
days, 3
Yeah.
months, 2 months, depending on
For me, it was 15
their
days.
observation of the injury.
Mm.
Yep, 15 days.
But they have like a
suspension.
minimum, which is I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks is the
Yeah.
minimum.
So just coming into the UFC, are you looking at guys now in the top 10?
That's all I'm looking at.
So you're
Yeah.
trying to get the biggest fight that you can get.
That's all I'm
Do you
looking
have
at.
management? Who's the guy trying to get you the fights?
Yeah, Jason House and Peter Johannes. Shout out to those guys at Iridium Sports Agency. So what's crazy is, and we're talking power of manifestation, right? Thoughts leading to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions leading to results, which is the process of manifestation.
Yeah.
Thoughts lead to feelings, feelings lead to actions, actions lead to results. Only thing before that is programming, which is what we do, which is why we're fucking savage. But it's crazy because I found the course that I did with or the course that I was gifted, $5,000 course by Jordan Belfort called Straight Line Persuasion.
Oh,
Fucking monster course. $5,000 course. I was gifted it for Christmas by a buddy in Newport Beach. Changed my life. Changed all my friends' lives that listened to it. And in that, I was
I need
listening
listen
to
that
it.
shit.
I'll send it to you on Dropbox
Yeah.
after this.
Cool.
Fire. Game changer. Absolute and utter game changer. And what he did is, and I missed it, was he talks about goal setting. And he's like, okay. He's like, what you need to know is, everybody's got prolonged goals, 6-month goal, 1-year goal, 5-year goal, 10 years. It's way too fucking long. He's like, you don't know where you're going to be 1 year, 5 years from now. He's like, so what you need to do is you need to set up a 60-day goals. And I was like, fucking 60-day goals. I can get with that. I go,
yeah.
fuck yeah. I go, 60-day goals. That's perfect. The next 60 days, next 2 months, that's nice. And he's like, you need to know who you're going to be with, where you're going to be, what it's going to feel like, who you're going to have with you, what they're doing, where you're at, who you need to connect with in order to make that happen, who are the people that you need to meet in order to be in the place that you want to be. And also he's like you need to have another reason of why you're doing it. It can't be just you. It has to be another reason why what you're doing it for. It can't just be you. So so for me it was like, all right, well, shit, I saw the performance that I had against Regivaldo Carvalho, Glover Teixeira student, Alex but number 1 in the world at the time. Alex Pereira, who wasn't number 1 in the world at the time, but now is number 1 in the world.
And he was living with Glover.
And he's living with Glover, and
Yep.
he's training partners with Regivaldo. So
wow.
those guys are all training together. And so I knocked him out. And so I'm writing down my 60-day goals and literally write it down. He's like, put it. He's like, write down your goals, what it's going to feel like, who you're with, who you're doing it for, when it's going to be, how it's going to go, and who you got to connect with in order to make that happen. He's like, sign it, date it, it's done.
Mm.
And I was like,
Wow.
bet. So he's like, keep it in your wallet. So when you retire at night, you can read it. So it ingrains into your subconscious mind. 'Cause there's something about like reviewing your day and also looking at the goals that you have set. So it reminds you where you're going before bed,
Especially writing it.
especially in your own writing, because it's your writing, not on your phone, in ink, on paper, some about pen to paper. And you look at it before you go to bed. It like ingrains crazy in your subconscious mind, and just like you wake up the next morning like oh yeah, that's the last thing that I remember before going to bed. And then throughout the day, first thing in the morning, and so I do that. I write it like midday. It's like 3 o'clock. Not even an hour later, I get hit up by my management. And they go, "Hey, we got a fight for you." how do you feel about fighting Alex Morgan? I go, say less, sign it. I go, send it over. I'll sign with the Iridium because I was in between management, and I was reading Gary Cohen's book, how to negotiate anything, and so they were like, hey, sign with us, we'll get you into the UFC. I go, I'm with the management right now, and I would like to see you two. You're my current management. You're the one who wants to get me into the UFC. How's about this? How's about we have a race? Let's see who can get me into the UFC first. And and they were like, no, we'd like to just sign you and then get it going. I go, I'd like to do it this way. I was like, this way, I'm not an asshole at the end of the day, and I gave both of you an equal opportunity. And they go, all right, bet. I was like, all right, I'm going to start training hard, getting my weight down, making sure I'm ready. 2 days later, I get a call, and they're like, hey, can you take a short notice fight? I go, how short? They're like, 10 days. I was like, fuck, I'm like 170, 173.
I was just about to ask you how much you
like,
weighed because I cannot believe you fight at 145.
Yeah, I'm like 170, 173 right now. I was like, I could make the weight, but I would not perform well. So I'm like, I have to turn it down, bro. I won't be able to make weight. And they're like, are you sure? You should really consider this. I was like, it's been considered, bro. Give me another fight. So I turned down the first UFC offer. And then they have another fight, like 3 days notice. I'm like, no, fuck no. I go, hey, quit giving me these short notice fights. I was like, I'm getting my weight down, but I can't make weight that fast. I was like, give me something that I can prepare for and allow me some time to get my weight down, please. And they go, all right, but this is 2 from Iridium. My old one, crickets. And I go, hey man, you better get going because I already got 2 offers, so I'm just letting you know. And I was like, and remember, this is like a race to who can get there first. I go, don't get mad at me because I give you the same opportunity and you're dropping the ball here. I go, so do your job or somebody else is going to do it for you. And so I write this fucking thing down. I write my 60-day plan down, exactly how I see the fight going, who I'm with, where it's at, what's going on. Within an hour, I get a call from my management. I go get the contract ready for Iridium Sports Agency and Dana White Contender Series. I don't even know who the fuck Alex Morgan is, but he's done. I was like, it's written in stone. I was like, trust. And so I sign all the shit and I'm like, fuck yeah, all right. I was like, I'm in Dana White Contender Series. Let's fucking go, baby. This is crazy. I just wrote it down. I was like, it's gotta happen. And maybe if I hadn't written it down, I might not have had the belief level in myself and whatnot. So I just wrote this down. I go, that shit happens fucking fast. Damn. I was like, straight line persuasion. What's up? And so I get off the phone and I'm like, fuck yeah. Wait, who's Alex Morgan? I look him up.
And you call me right after that,
Yeah.
telling me, and then I don't fucking know who's who. And most of the time, I don't give a shit who we're fighting.
Yeah.
Sure.
I just know we're gonna fuck them up. I have 129 wins and 4 losses as a professional coach.
Yeah.
So I look at like everybody I'm facing, I'm just like, he's done.
Peasant.
So he just tells me, I'm like, cool, he's done.
Yeah.
Right? But he's like, I just wrote this shit down and I get a call. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
But that's the power of the universe. The
That's-
universe makes it. You don't need to know the in between. You just want to know where you want to go, and the universe forms that for you.
You know what's crazy?
100%.
I've always said in my mind, and I've always said I'm gonna train this dude one day.
Wow.
And holy shit, like not just with Blake, like but with a lot of different of these fighters, and you'd be surprised it happens.
Totally.
Have you worked
Yeah.
with a lot of MMA fighters or?
Well, now I'm
Awesome.
working with Blake, and I'm really loyal to him. But now I'm working with the youngest ever signed fighter in UFC, Raul Rosas Jr.
Oh yeah, I see.
Wow.
That guy's
And
a
I'm working-
fucking animal.
I'm pretty conservative a little bit on who I select as who I work with. They
That's
have
a good
to
one.
match my energy. They have to be as hungry as I am. I don't
Yep.
drink. I haven't drank in 10 years.
Yep.
I don't smoke. I haven't smoked in over 10 years.
Yep.
I haven't done drugs, none of that shit in
Yep.
over 10 years. So I'm really clean, clear, and I just get high off of life. But they have to be similar to those ideas. If not, we can't align. And if we can't align, we can't perform, we can't work, and we can't execute. If we can't execute, if I'm not confident, I don't believe we can execute, then I can't work with that person.
What weight is that guy?
135, yeah.
So you guys obviously have tussled a little bit, right?
We're gonna
Training.
not yet.
We're gonna, but right now,
Guys just kind of
His
stay on
injury,
your
yeah.
own path.
well, no,
Yeah.
I would, but right now, just like my hand, like the times that they have set up, I have to go run tests over at the Performance Institute,
Yeah.
and then I would have grappled with them or trained. I'll eventually train with them, but like right now, I just got to get MRI on my hand to get it checked out because it got a little beat up in the fight, but nothing bad. It's still like it's just like a little strain, but we just got to get an MRI to make sure that everything's good.
I think I think if you guys do become somewhat of teammates and training partners, I think that kid's got a lot. He's heading in the right direction.
We're already stable mates. Everybody,
Yeah.
We're fucking dogs in there, and we're sharpening each other up.
So what do you? So when do you think you'll be? Or when will you be ready for? How many fights do you see you doing before Volkanovski?
Shit, like
we want Volkanovski next if we could.
Shit,
Like, it's not-
if they
we're
were
not
like,
ducking
if
him.
they were like, if they were like, hey, what do you think about Volkanovski for the next one? I'd be like, all right, bet, sick.
So what would be the hardest sell? Just Volkanovski saying, "Oh, he needs I would rather do a name," or if he did research.
we
on
are
you.
a name.
Yeah,
We don't look
yeah,
at ourselves
yeah.
less than that.
yeah.
I see myself as top echelon.
Do you see? Is he beatable? Is
yeah,
that,
fuck yeah.
yeah.
Look, the guy that I just beat, Shane Young, fought Volkanovski on 8 days' notice, and did a lot of damage to him, and I came out unscathed. I hurt myself from hitting him, and it might not have even been that. I think it might have been like,
Training injury, perhaps.
yeah, some training injuries and shit. So, but it might have been in the fight. I don't know. All I know is my thumb was like fucking jammed up for the fight, but we didn't take any damage from the guy, and he was landing.
And we
a
beat him
lot.
in his own game too.
And we beat him. 20-hour flight over there in his home territory for my UFC debut, and that was his fifth.
And we didn't even
sixth?
bring some of the other shit up. Fucking cuts under our eyes
Yeah, I got a cut right here,
right
on my
before the
eye.
fight.
I got a cut on my,
Just in,
on
like,
my
sparring?
eyelid right
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
sparring and drilling, and
One
it's
of our
like,
coaches forgot his passport, so couldn't get on the plane. Like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And it's
So
crazy because it wasn't
much.
just like, here to Vegas, some shit happened, no big deal, we fixed it. You're fucking talking 20-something
Yeah.
hours. Like
Yeah.
20-something hours going there because I don't know the time or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
But it's longer going there and then coming back it's 20 hours or it's 21 hours.
I mean, there's so many things that you just don't see. So you're dealing with like the jet lag from this.
Obstacles.
You're in a different country, so the food's different.
People talking shit to you.
People,
you know?
I hate their accents over there.
Oi, mate, you're a fucking
Yeah, you
legend.
good
Fucking
cunt.
sick cunt. He's a fucking sick cunt, he is, yeah. Good on you, mate, to go over here, be the Kiwi, all right? Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
It was
they-
fun.
So who do you think's gonna win between him and the Yair,
Who?
the Volkanovski and the Yair Rodriguez?
Oh, shit.
I like Yair a lot, man.
Yair.
I'll be honest. I think Yair's a better striker for sure.
He's looking great.
Very versatile. And the thing about Yair is what I tell Blake, like, too, because I think Blake gets better every fucking time. Yair, if you see his past, he's a lot better now.
Yeah.
Way
and
better.
it's crazy.
Way
And I
better.
think Volkanovski makes adjustments. I still see him kind of very similar and, gets away with a lot of shit. But
Yep.
I see Yair has just fucking improved. His IQ level is insane. I think he's a really,
Really
good
good.
athlete. Yeah.
Really
He
good.
is really
So
good.
I'm leaning more with Yair for sure.
Yeah, I like Yair.
Word. Well,
Enough.
we're gonna have to wrap things
Yeah,
up, but we
thank you so much for
appreciate you guys for stopping by.
Absolutely.
I'm definitely going
Dropping
to
all kinds
be
of gems.
a Blake
Yeah.
Bilder fan. I
Yeah.
don't listen to the radio barely. I don't watch TV. I
Right.
watch the UFC, so
Hell yeah.
I will see your
I
next
like the
fight.
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like it too.
Yeah.
It's my,
We do
it's
too.
my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's fun.
But make some noise, man. Go in
Yeah.
there. Tell Dana White you want to fucking fight Volkanovski
yeah,
next.
I mean, that's what we're doing,
We should have told him today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, get
No,
that
no,
get that fight.
Get
it's
his-
okay. The universe is gonna make it happen.
yeah.
Hey,
It'll happen.
I'll tell you what. I wrote my goals down for Shane Young too. And that shit fucking slapped. And I just wasn't specific enough. I said that I would beat him. I said that I would dominate him in the fight. But I didn't say that I would. I wrote in my notes that I'd knock him out, but I wrote in my phone that I would dominating victory in Perth, Australia. 8-0, Eleni Mal.
Wow. So how can people find you on social media?
On Instagram at Blake the Builder. I just started YouTube, so I'm gonna start getting that cracking like chap lips.
Yes.
Yep. And then and yeah, pretty much there. Those are pretty much like what I'm on. I try not to be too much social media. It gets crazy, doesn't it? There's a lot of time that you spend
in the sauce.
looking at a screen and comments and all that, but yeah, just YouTube and Instagram is where you can find me. Instagram mainly.
And how about you, Flame? Are you on there?
Yeah, you can find me on the adult industry at what's our website?
only toes.flame.
Nah, just kidding. No,
Find him at AVN.
yeah, find me there. That's talent. No, find me on Instagram at Flamin' Hot Mitts.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, whenever you
Simple.
guys are back in town, man, let us know. Stop through.
For sure.
I look forward to seeing what's going
I'd love
on with
to
you.
check out one of your fights.
Your brother's with you on all these fights.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Know that.
I really feel that.
And before we get off the podcast, we always want to do this. We always, anybody that's looking and, maybe you were thinking this was your last day, your last time here or whatever, and you're going through it. I love you. Blake loves you. We're fucking here for you. It's fucking, there's enough light, and there's going to be light eventually for you if you're going through it right now. I promise you. And we always do our heart, that's for you. That's if you're battling that shit, fucking, you're not alone, baby. We're here with you. And every fight that we go in there, it's for you too. So we're fucking dogs, and we're dogging it for you. We've all gone through that shit, and we're still standing, and we know you can too, So remember that we love you.
Yeah, and ever since I listened to that tape video, like, I don't know, like I haven't had one. It was like every day, multiple times a day. I haven't had one suicidal thought since. I haven't had any depression or anything. It was like it was lifted.
Hey, so before we go, we're gonna have you spin this magical wheel.
All right.
If you want to, what do you want to say? Do you want to say, are you going? I actually wrote down on this piece of paper that I need you to sign now. I said,
right.
when will you be the UFC champion? And I dated it.
Oh, I said 2024. I wrote that when me.
Can you write that on there?
Yeah, me and Yair Rodriguez we're signing posters together, and on the last one, I wrote UFC champ, 2024, Blake Bilder at Lenny Mal.
Where's that poster?
One of the fighters got it, so
Nice.
I gotta reach out to one of those guys.
You signed like 300 posters that day.
Oh my
Shit.
god, so many. It was crazy. 2024. I wrote just like that.
2024. So you know how much that's gonna be worth when that happens.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Smart man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right?
I'm gonna have that.
I believe it too.
So ask
That's
a
the
question
thing.
and spin that wheel. You can ask any question, whatever.
Yes.
Damn,
Go crazy, bro.
what's a good question?
Are you gonna beat the shit out of Volkanovski?
Oh man, that's what we are.
Oh, we're not asking.
I already know that answer.
It's like when people ask,
Yeah.
do you think you're going to win this fight coming up? It's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck kind of shit is that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I didn't think about winning the fight.
Yeah,
Shit.
Or we can say, or we can say this: after your UFC career is over, are you going to become a porn star?
There you go.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's a pretty good
Only
one.
for-
And will
Alani style.
will the Flame become a porn star this year?
Blake
this
of
year.
the Flame.
This is the Wheel of Fortune right here.
Oh,
Yes,
mom.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! You already know my mom.
We
My
gonna
mom's
be porn
next.
stars.
Peace out, yo.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Peace.
you.